Truth finder. What sort of weird fucking power trip is Daniel on? This is my castle now. My name's on the deed. Can do what I want around here. I got my mama in the driveway, living in the RV. It's like a fucking rap song. You're the real boss of this castle now. Gangster rap. She's fine. She's loving it in there. She couldn't be happier. Quite the opposite. She's fucking destroyed everything that Janie once treasured. Can you fucking believe it? No wonder Janie's so goddamn angry. She's just so thick with denial because she's afraid. She's into this like life sentence level. This isn't just a slap on the wrist, and we understand there you're just sticking up for your boy. This is actively committing a goddamn felony, accessory after the fact, to a double child murder. You're getting at least 2 life sentences for that. No ifs, ands, or buts, Janie. You're into this balls deep, honey. That's the reason she's lying. Their hatred for Malaya both is the same. Janie and Daniel. They have a disdain towards her. She's a piece of property. She's a part of the picture. She's the the low man on the totem pole around there. Shit flows downhill. He's angry and abusive because he thinks that that's okay. He thinks he's justified in doing these things to her. Oh, JM221, that as well, absolutely. She holds that against her. They do not give one shit about Jack and Lily, not one. They are the most negative people. They make me sick. 2 children missing, you stupid F's. Missing. Think about what it is that they just did to them. Okay? They don't give a shit about the fact that you think that they're missing. They're busy trying to cover their tracks in a double homicide. Gives a fuck about you thinking they're missing. You really, you're just believing in the hype, Helicopter Grandma. You're believing that there's missing children. We need to find them. Meanwhile, everybody already knows that they're fucking murdered and they're trying to cover their tracks. It's 2 completely different things. The RCMP know what they did. And that's why they asked them. Because none of their fucking stories add up. Full of sensitivities.
Or talking. Okay, to save everybody trouble, here is what happened at the end of my driveway. The altercation. My brother, me and Justin were out on the 4-wheeler. We were up at the pipeline. We were coming out at the road called the Madison Road. Malaya called me.
Here's another reason that stud Justin isn't around anymore.
She called.
Or isn't around or talking. Because anything that he says is going to add complications to things. If Justin was staying there or he was there on May 1st, May 2nd, absolutely he's an accessory to this as well. There's no fucking way that you could have been on that property and not known what went on. What happened. Impossible. You might hope that you don't know or didn't see something, but there's no possible way that the law is going to agree with you. This is just a glorified campsite. It's impossible not to know what's going on in your environment. It's like sitting in the car in that RV In the trailer, it's just the same. They don't have a big kick-ass wood-burning wood stove in the goddamn thing because it's efficient in holding and keeping the heat and cool in. No, there is no insulation. In the winter, you got to keep that thing stoked up. You got to warm the place up. Oh, yeah, helicopter. I'm not yelling at you, helicopter grandma. I was just dovetailing. I'm not... I knew where you're going with that. I'm not throwing it back in your face. Excuse me. Got coughs. I got the coughs. Smoking all that stickiest of the icky. Plus, I have a cold. But I'm over the cold. I feel fine.
Me at 3:32. I didn't answer because we were talking to a lady on her four-wheeler with a child. Then she called me back at 5:39. I answered the phone. She told me to get back here to the trailer. I said, what's up? She said, I can't tell you over the phone. So I came back here. Me and Justin came back here to the trailer. Malaya was standing on the edge of the driveway, crying her eyes out. I went up and I put my arms around her and I said, please don't tell me that they found the kids dead. Hey.
Oh, God. Jeez. You should be working for Hallmark. You should be writing fucking romantic, apology cards and Christmas cards and maybe birthday cards there, Janie. Helicopter grandma, you don't need to apologize to me. You're just emotional over this shit. Yeah. You don't have to apologize. I'm not even upset. I'm just up here reacting. I'm performing. NeuroVX AB, I read one news report that the brother was there that night. I wish I knew. It was important to remember his name. Yeah, his name's Justin. But I thought it was another brother at the time. No, there's no other brothers. But just because he's not talking doesn't make him the magic missing link to anything. Everything that you need is right in front of your face. Anybody else want to join? Well, they can pull them in under questioning. We don't have to magically associate all of these other things that Durwood and Janie want to suggest. It's nonsense. We have no reason to look anywhere else other than Daniel and Janie and Malaya. It stems back from the garbage bullshit report that they gave in their initial report to police on May 2nd. That 10:01 call. They've never ever wanted to talk in any length or to add any context to the information that was shared in that call. The only thing that they want to bring in is what exactly they were doing in relation to their alibi in that sense. Or come up with ludicrous victim blaming and Malaya blaming scenarios to push out there in the public. That's all that they've done. Like, that's really, in a nutshell, that's really admitting your own guilt in all of this. Because you've deviated in all of this blaming Malaya and all of these stories. These people have admitted to the world that something other than what they told police had happened. And they were not telling the entire story or any of the story. And they're refusing to fill in any of the timeline. They're being uncooperative. Well, telling everybody they're just so cooperative because being cooperative somehow means that because you gave them all of your phone and your banking information, that somehow you need a pat on the back for routine procedure. Fucking crazy. You're so crazy. Yeah, I think you think Justin knows what happened? Good possibility. If he was there, for sure he does. He's definitely in that circle of the number of people in the loop for being questioned by police. See, to police, it would be really interesting. It would really what Belinda was doing was contradicting the narrative in that sense. We're using and applying a little bit of common sense.
I'm usually out there. I'm the one watching those kids. I watch those kids.
Like, the fact that they're so openly talking about how they're the ones that look at these kids the most, like, what? It doesn't seem to be very, it's not a humanizing thing. It's very detached. Oh, nobody spends more time with these kids than I do. I'm affected the most. You know, you're just making yourself look like more of a fucking idiot because the kids aren't around anymore. So obviously you weren't the type of person to be out there interacting with the kids. Not to mention that they're terrified of you because you hate them. You're just looking for something to associate some sort of pleasant feelings with the two missing children. Oh, you're just such a caring grandma, and I'm crying because I think I could have changed the outcome of all of this. This is just utter bullshit.
Out in the yard every day. That's why I blame myself for not getting up that day. If I would have got up, this would have never happened. So that's why I was crying that day, Belinda, is because I blamed myself for not getting up for those kids.
See, she's trying to garner sympathy based off of a tragedy that they want you to believe had happened, something alternate to reality. And here she is crying, trying to throw it back at Belinda. Good attempt, but listen, you're not selling this, Janie. You're not selling this whatsoever.
And I'll tell you something else, and I don't care if you believe me or not. I would never, ever, ever let anything happen to those kids. I watched them for 2 years. I seen them day in and day out. What went on between Malaya and Daniel has nothing to do with me. I live here in the camper. They live in the trailer. What went on in there is none of my business. And when you have to call your kids, or Jack and Lily's mother, and tell them that Jack has his boots off and Jack has his coats off, does that tell you that Malaya was watching the kids? So don't come down on me because they weren't my grandchildren, but that I do, and I do consider them my grandchildren. I don't care what anybody says. When they came into my life, they became part of my family. So if people doubt that, then they don't think very much of me, because I'm not that kind of a person. No, I want to continue this. I want to get this all out of my system, and I want to tell you guys the truth. It really bothers me because I've been a grandmother for 9.5 years. In the last 2 months, I can't be a grandmother anymore. I'm not a grandmother. My grandchild, my oldest granddaughter's birthday was on the 25th of this month, and I couldn't even see her, all because of what happened. And I had nothing to do with it. But I am the one that is suffering. So is Jack and Lily. They don't know where they are. They don't know what's going on. Well, Meadow doesn't know what's going on. And my other 2 grandchildren don't know what's going on. I watched my oldest 2 grandchildren play with those kids for the last 2 years. And now they don't even know what's happening. They don't know what happened to Jack and Lily. They don't know where they are. It's not about me, it's about, I'm worried about my grandchildren. What impact this is having on them. I can recover from this. It's going to take me a long time. But just think what the impact has on my grandchildren and Jack and Lily. How much it's hurting them. And I begged Malaya to come out and tell her side of the story. And she's the only one that can answer the questions that we can't. I begged her to come out and talk for the sake of the grandchildren, for the sake of her children. You guys put yourself in my shoes and see how you would feel. You would be feeling exactly the same way I am. I'm no different than anybody else. I do have a heart. And I'm not standing up for Dan.
So each time that she says that what it is, why do you think it is that she brings up all the things that she wants you to believe she's not doing? Can you not just come out with a clear communication? Do you have to tell everybody when you speak, tell them what it is that you're not doing? I'm not lying. Yeah, you are lying. Have you caught on to this bitch yet? Listen, you told us that an incident happened. There was a fight that was happening between Malaya and Danny, and that was their business. Posing it as though that you've got no idea what's going on. Well, that doesn't sound very much like what your brother had to say in that leaked audio phone call yesterday. Sounds like you're at your wit's end. And then you want to turn around and garner sympathy from a bunch of strangers, asking them to put yourself in your shoes? Bitch, I hope you fucking hang from the lamppost. You will. You don't hurt children. You fuckers singled them out, alienated them, treated them like garbage, and eventually murdered them. Absolutely. And now you're trying to cover it up by putting the blame back on to Jack and Lily. Very significant piece of leakage there. Probably my favorite throughout all of this. As to use it as an example, there's just so much. There's 100% deception from everybody in all of this. It's not like you really have to interpret much to call the bullshit out. It's all bullshit. But my favorite is she gets carried away in over explaining. Not just with extenuous information, but she's over-explaining to the point where she's battling for these people's sympathy. And she says that, so whatever happened, don't blame me because they're not my grandkids. And then turn around, immediately tell you the exact opposite, that she treated them and considered them to be just like her grandkids. Right. You just admitted to the world that you treated them differently. There is a separation. We don't need you to interpret what that was. We know. If you're separating, there's a reason for it. Listen. You're telling people that whatever happened to Jack and Lily isn't your fault. It's Malaya's fault. None of this has to do with you. This all has to do with Malaya. They're her kids. Therefore, her responsibility. That's not going to fly in this particular situation. You want to put yourself in Janie's shoes? Miss K, you going to put yourself in Janie's shoes? Why don't you try walking around in Janie's shoes for a little bit? Does that mean you would be loving Darren Geddes? Oh, Darren, thank you so much for coming by. You're the first dude I could open up to. Oh, my God. Oh, you don't judge me? Oh, it's just exactly what you want. Can you imagine? She's so worried about being judged. You're so fucking worried about being judged, yet you lived in the goddamn driveway in an RV. Not flying, honey. You get in front of a camera with that hideous goddamn shirt on, zipped down to your belly button like you're some sort of lady of the night. Honey, nobody's buying that shit. Look at your surroundings. You live in a goddamn garbage dump and you're worried about people judging you. You didn't give a shit to begin with. You don't care what people think of you, or else you wouldn't live in such filth. You're probably dipping in to old Chance Lay's Supply. You're probably one of his better customers as well there, Janie.
And I'm not standing up for Malaya. I'm standing up for myself. I told you everything that I know, and I told...
I'm standing up for myself. We can tell. What the hell does any of this have to do with what happened to Jack and Lily? You tell me. It's all her. She has so much inside that she wants to tell people.